18th meeting to order by roll call, please.
Smith present.
Newman present.
Board President. Cranston present.
Those who are able, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Have we all had a chance to look over the meeting minutes from our last meeting? Yes. All right. Any edits or comments?
I would make a motion that we accept the meetings for the minutes for the June 4th, 2025 Select Board meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye. Ward, aye.
Cranston, aye. And we thank you again, for a good set of meetings. Meeting minutes. Show everybody your tricks before you leave.
Let's not discuss her leaving just yet. No. So first up on our agenda, we have an update from our COA director.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me present at this meeting. At almost 2 years as director, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to our very talented senior center staff, all the volunteers, the COA Board of Directors, Friends of Sterling Seniors, the Sterling Select Board, Bill Caldwell, and of course, all the people who patronize our building. It's all those I've just mentioned who make the center the success that it is. Here's a brief overview as to what has been happening. Now, I'd like to mention that I haven't presented since either April or May of 2024. So I'm going to go back just a hair so that everybody knows what I've been up to. So in June of 2024, we hosted a Father's Day luncheon. We've increased ticket sales from 60 to 100, and most every event we have is sold out. Father's Day, Mother's Day, Veterans Day are all free events to anybody who comes, just so you know that. I received 2 MCOA grants, SIG grants, one for nutritional expansion. We received over $13,000 specifically for fresh fruits and vegetables purchased from our local farms year-round. That gave us an additional purchasing power of about $264 a week. Thank you especially to Fat Daddy's Eric Jewett, who I had to beg to invoice me so that we could work the grant down. The other one was for innovative programming. When I came on, we realized there was a lot of classes for people who could, fitness-wise, but there was none for people who couldn't quite. So we created the class called Be Steady, which was a step down from Going Steady, geared to people who use adaptive equipment, wheelchairs, those who have Parkinson's, ALS, MS, those who have stroke, those who have early stages of dementia, those who haven't exercised in so many years and don't know where to start. So we received a grant for that class as well. I'm about to start my final survey on them both, and so far feedback has been 100% positive, except one person on the fruits and vegetable who hates all vegetables. July of 2024, we successfully shut down the building for the floor renovation. That was the multi-purpose room, the classroom, and the health office, which is the outreach and volunteer coordinator office. Those 3 rooms were repaired, painted, refloored. We sanitized all kitchen, bathroom floors. We deep cleaned all the carpeting and the upholstered furniture. We had all the building windows washed, all while continuing running the vans, all classes and groups to the 1835, and running our congregate dining program out of the First Church, all within the 8 working day time frame I had allotted and well within our budget. The DPW relined our parking lot, added bollards to protect the building, and we started the process of hiring a new volunteer and operations coordinator. August was our 7th annual Classic Car Show. It was sponsored in part by the Senior Center, the Friends of Sterling Seniors, the COA Board, with sponsors by local companies. Live entertainment by a 3-piece classic rock band was covered by Clinton Savings Bank, Leominster Credit Union gave away 600 ice creams, and the Senior Center gave away 600 hot dogs, bags of chips, and waters in about an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half. And by the way, all the same sponsors are coming back this year, and we already have 2 new sponsors as well. September of 2024, with the advent of receiving the grant for the fresh fruits and vegetables, we hosted a farm-to-table dinner event. That was sold out, and we invited our local farmers, including David Rhoda, who spoke out at the event about farming and what they do, and superb feedback. Everybody loved it. We hosted an Elvis concert. It was sold out. The Sterling Arts Collaborative gave us a grant so that we could purchase the museum quality picture hangers that are in the multi-purpose room and in the lobby, and those were added to the classroom as well as the area around the pool tables. October of 2024 was Halloween. I had staff and volunteers downtown doing the Sterling Halloween. We pressure washed the main entrance of the building. We hosted a flu clinic, and we hired the volunteer and operations coordinator. In November, we hosted 2 Veterans Day events, both a lunch and a dinner, with entertainment that was free to all the participants. Entertainment included Dan Clark, the singing trooper, and the offices, my office, outreach, and the corner office were all repaired and painted. December, we were able to obtain a new ice maker, cabinets for my office, a snow blower, and a second refrigerator with ARPA funds. We added shelving to the maintenance room. We've had numerous intergenerational activities, including this one where Upward Bound out of Fitchburg came out, and signed, sealed, stamped, and mailed out, I think, 800 and something Christmas cards and holiday cards for seniors in town. In addition to that, we had Girl Scouts came in, they sang, they did a sing-along, and they played games after the Senior Center Holiday Light Tour. I'll just let you know, January and July, we try to take a break. In January, we had ongoing building repairs, including an exterior gas leak. We had 2 of them. One was at the generator, and one was outside the kitchen. So we had to have both the generator company and the Eversource come out and take care of those. February was another intergenerational activity, this time with Chalks at School peer leaders. They filled over 100 Valentine's Day gift bags and cards, which were given out at the Valentine's Day lunch, the Valentine's Day dinner, shut-ins that we were aware of locally, and the remainder were donated to the Wachusett Food Pantry. Both our Valentine's Day lunch and dinner events were sold out, and we were able to obtain Grammy-nominated artist Michelle Brooks Thompson, who performed at both. In March, I was the guest reader at Holton School. Outreach and I worked with Phil over at Sterling Fire to determine how to best utilize the Senior Safe Grant. We came up with free lock boxes for all seniors in Sterling over the age of 65. That includes installation. And as of the 5th of June, over 115 seniors had signed up for the program, and Phil is busy doing the installs. So that was a huge success. Thank you, Phil and Sterling Fire. We also continue to do wall repair and painting in the interior areas of the building. That's something we're always chasing. The building continues to settle, the walls continue to crack, so we continue to repair. April of 2025, the repairs and painting at that time were complete in all the common areas. Police Association hosted a grab-and-go spaghetti dinner. We hosted a volunteer drive ice cream sundae event. We hosted an Earth Day event, and we trained 4 dispatchers for the MARC vans. I would point out that Sterling is the busiest senior center that MARC has. We run the vans regularly 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. And we also give our van services at no charge, as well to the church on their first Saturday luncheon every month while they run. In addition, let's see, April continued along. The Sterling Arts Collaborative utilized the Senior Center for the school vacation. They hosted a ceramics program for all interested students. That was a nice success. Willie Holmes, FOSS member, and I attended a 6-hour grant writing class. We learned quite a bit from that. And I met with the Wheat director in Clinton, and we created Sterling Wheat Day, the third Tuesday of each month. And it's not specific to seniors, it's for any resident of Sterling who could use a little bit of extra help. This came about because, number one, I knew we were paying an invoice to them every year, but I had never done anything with them. And number two, we were finding that by the third or even the fourth week in, people who had regular shopping trips scheduled were canceling them because they were out of money. So the great thing about Wheat is once a month you can go in there and you can buy a week's worth of groceries for all members in your household. That includes meats and seafoods, fresh fruits and vegetables, some canned goods, 10-pound bags of potatoes, and so on. The feedback, our first trip there was Tuesday, and the feedback was fantastic. So highly recommended if anybody knows anybody who might be interested. In May, we hosted a Mother's Day event. That was ran by Jackie Uliano and her team of volunteers. We sat 100 people for that, and it was absolutely fantastic. And our summer kickoff barbecue at the end of May was also sold out with excellent feedback. We just had our Father's Day luncheon. That was free to all participants. 100 people showed up for that, and we gave away a Ryobi Chuck battery-operated drill and 10 gift cards to local area restaurants. Regularly, I'd like to add, Shine is here up to 4 times monthly. With the rise into seniorhood now, we're having an incredible amount of people needing help navigating Medicare and benefits as they turn 65. We also opened the building for use by other municipal departments, and we rented evenings and weekends if necessary. We regularly let the library in. They do a lot of programming with us, and we'll be opening up to the police department when they do, I'm not sure if it's RAD training, but some kind of training that they need the space. We host new artists 6 times a year with an artist reception, which is always open to the public. We bring in speakers with important information for seniors. In May, which was Older Americans Month, the Mass Bar Association called us and asked if they could send over an attorney to talk about issues important to seniors, which was extremely well attended. They talked about wills, trusts, your assets, and how to protect them. Upcoming, just like to toot this horn, our 8th annual Classic Car Show is coming up. We currently have same and new sponsors for this event and more than 20 cars already registered. This is a free community event that we'll also use as an open house. In addition to the accomplishments and the events hosted, we're planning future events and activities, as well as looking for ways to improve. Events are already scheduled through the end of the year and into 2026. Of course, they're under wraps until you get the newsletter. And I'm constantly looking for grants and sponsors and ways to raise money to do all of the above so we don't have to raise the cost for participants. And I think it's very, very important to mention our volunteers again. According to the My Senior Center data, which is underreported, I found somebody was missing 100 hours today. But as of when I printed this and sent it off to you, and the fiscal year is not over yet, the Senior Center has 151 active volunteers, reporting 9,300 and almost 10 hours. Which is equivalent to $381,416. Our volunteer in-kind hours exceed both the number of hours in a full year and the actual budget of the Senior Center itself. So I just want to give a shout out to all the volunteers. They're what makes the world go around at the Senior Center, so my eternal gratitude to them. And again, I'd like to thank you all for the support of the Senior Center and for the opportunity to speak tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila.
Sheila, can I just ask a question? You know Stephen's working on the housing production plan.
I do.
Any chance we can get it out to your seniors?
I've got it.
Okay, good.
I started yesterday. Stephen gave me a stack. They're all gone. Pam went over, we copied a small handful. Those were gone, and then Stephen dropped over a big stack of them before coming here tonight.
Keep them going. We have more seniors than we did when we built the senior center, and we said that was going to happen.
We have about 140 people through the building every day, different times for different activities and services, and we prepare home-cooked meals 5 days a week, and we serve anywhere between 25 and 60 people a day.
It's a good thing. Are you using the electric car too, Sheila?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
All cars are out, and we'll find a volunteer to run the electric car for medical appointments or shopping as well.
Huh? Yeah. Still running well?
Thank you to you, Sheila, and thank you to your board, to FOSS, and all of the volunteers. I've been in a lot more in the last year than I was previously, and it's definitely a well-oiled machine. So really appreciate it. And
thank you.
for all the hard work from everybody.
Thank you very much.
All right, next up, we have an update from our town planner, Stephen Wallace.
Hello, board members.
Hey, you guys don't want to listen to this? Come on.
Go ahead. So I'm here before you on two topics. To give you my mid-year update on the planning department work program, and then to talk to you about Sterling's options for MBTA zoning compliance. So why don't we dig right in? The planning board completed phase one of the 3-year effort to update and modernize your zoning bylaw. As you know, we spent the last year working on the economic development aspects of zoning, and I'm pleased to report that all of those zoning amendments were passed at the most recent town meeting. So that's phase one out of the way. The next item, I've been working with town council and the regional planning commission and the planning board to identify an area of town suitable for our MBTA overlay district. In a town of 22,300 acres, I think we ought to be able to find 15 acres somewhere where we can allow multifamily by right as opposed to special permit, which is how it's allowed now. So I'm going to go over that in a bit, but we are on the verge of making our third request to the state for compliance review. If we get that in soon, we should hear back from the state on its acceptability sometime in September. That allows us to schedule a special town meeting before the end of the calendar year. All right, third item, planning board and I are going to start working on the multi-family housing bylaw as part of our effort to tackle phase two of the zoning overhaul, which is the residential aspects. I was able to get a grant from the state to allow us to hire the state's leading expert on open space housing developments, and that person, consultant Jeff Lacey, he will be before the planning board next Thursday night at 6:30 to present his concept and talk with the planning board about how we might modify it to adapt to Sterling's multifamily housing bylaw. After that meeting, we've got a working group that's going to meet on a regular basis to work on the bylaw over the summer. That bylaw will be comprised of a member of the planning board, the zoning board, Thank you, Patricia, for offering to sit in for the select board. And we'll have someone from the Open Space Committee as part of that as well. I put the word out to all the other boards, commissions, committees, and departments that if they've got residential zoning ideas, to get them to me by the end of June, so that we can, planning board and I can work on them over the summer. Then we will bring our suggested zoning changes around on another tour of all the town's relevant boards, commissions, and committees to get their feedback on our suggested changes, have another public meeting or two. We'll take that feedback, revise our proposals over the winter, bring them back to the public in February, and then hopefully bring them to next year's town meeting. So that's the routine I'm trying to get the planning board and all of us into when it comes to how to craft zoning amendments. All right, moving right along. I'm working with the Regional Planning Commission to update Sterling's 2019 Housing Production Plan. That was really one of the reasons why we held our housing forum last Thursday over at the Old Town Hall, which was well attended. We had about 40 people there at a Sterling by the Numbers presentation by the Regional Planning Commission, and then a robust discussion about Sterling's housing needs. The housing production plan is important for the following reasons. If you've got an up-to-date plan on file with the state and you can demonstrate that you've made some progress towards meeting your affordable housing goals, then you can buy yourself a temporary reprieve from housing proposals proposed under the comprehensive permit law, which if you don't have 10% of the town's housing stock deemed affordable by the state, someone can apply for a comprehensive permit and build anywhere in town, regardless of our zoning, at any density. So it behooves us to get to 10%, or at least show the state that we're making an effort to get to our 10%. That way we can control our own destiny. We're pretty darn close to 10%. I know they're going to break ground on the third building for the Northgate 40B project. And once that's built, we'll be at about 9.6% of our housing stock being deemed affordable by the state. So we are making ground, and we can prove that to the state. Let's see. I'll also start working with the Open Space Committee to update the town's 2019 Open Space and Recreation Plan. That's something I'm going to begin late in the year and spend the bulk of next year working on. You've got to have a state-approved open space plan on file to be eligible for open space and recreation grants. Speaking of open space and recreation, so I'll be working with Chuck and the Open Space Committee on updating their open space plan throughout next year. The good news is that the state has lessened their requirements for open space and recreation plans. They're much less burdensome, so I don't think it will be the heavy lift that it used to be. Let's see. Okay, I'm working with the Open Space Committee on an ongoing basis to identify new trail links within Sterling and links to neighboring communities. I did help them get a grant to prepare a map of the town's chapter lands that they can use to identify potential linkages, and I hope they're making good use of that map. let's see. Now that the economic development zoning changes have passed, I will be working with the Economic Development Committee and the Regional Chamber of Commerce on putting together a doing business in Sterling webpage and resource sheet so that anybody who's thinking about opening up a business in Sterling, they can go to that page, figure out how to begin. We start by recommending a visit with the chamber to flesh out a business plan. And then once they figure out what they need, all right, here's your list of resources. So that's something that we'll be working on for the rest of the calendar year. I will continue working with the town administrator on administrating the earth removal permits as they come in. I continue to keep an eye out for land suitable for senior housing. By now, we've determined that none of the town's land holdings are suitable for senior housing. I then moved on to taking a look at parcels that are tax delinquent, so that if there are any that might be suitable for senior housing, if we ever take them through tax title, we can use them for senior housing. And I did find a few. And if they go through the tax title process and we require them, I've already let the treasurer collector's office know of the ones that I'm keeping an eye on, so we'll see what happens there. Other than that, I continue to manage the planning board's caseload on a day-to-day basis. That fluctuates in terms of how much of my time it takes. Right now, we've only got one site plan before us. I continue to participate in the Regional Planning Commission's Brownfield Steering Committee and Comprehensive Economic Development Planning Committee. I continue to search out grant opportunities that are appropriate for the town, and if I find any, I send them along to the appropriate department. And continue to represent for the town and advocate for its interests at all the state and regional meetings I attend. So that's the update on the work program. I'll take any questions you have.
Questions for Stephen? Have you done the math? If we're at 9.6% for affordable units, about how many more would we need to get to the 10%?
Yeah, let's see. It's around 20.
Oh, okay.
I thought we were there, 2022.
Somewhere, I don't have the number off the top of my head. I do know that it's in the neighborhood of 18 to 22.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why, you gonna build some? Go for it.
Just curious to see where we're at.
Yeah, close.
And then just a thank you. The public forums were great. I think it makes a big difference, and I appreciate that you hold them. I appreciate that you have an open door, and that I know a lot of our citizens do come in to talk to you about things, and you're always there to answer questions. So I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, absolutely, and always. My door is always open to anybody who wants to talk planning. Being the exciting topic that it is.
Yeah.
It is.
We're all still awake.
I dig it.
Yeah, hopefully.
I hope so, yeah. Anybody else, any questions for Stephen?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Stephen.
Nicely
So now I
done,
move
Steve.
on to the MBTA
Oh, yes.
stuff. Okay. So, here we are up here.
No.
No. What am I hitting?
I'm a laptop.
Oh, okay, thank you, Bill. All right.
Just kick it.
Just kick it.
Arrow? There we go.
Okay. So just a brief list of overviews. The legislature passed the MBTA's Community Act back in 2021. Act requires all MBTA communities and adjacent communities to create an overlay zoning district that allows multifamily housing by right as opposed to special permit, which is how we allow multifamily housing in Sterling today. Did I go too far? Okay, Sterling is considered an MBTA adjacent small town because we border Leominster and they have an MBTA train station. So that requires us to find enough land to accommodate 15 units per acre for a total of 156 multifamily housing units. In terms of the need for land, that translates to about 12 to 15 acres of land. In a town of 22,300 square feet or acres, we ought to be able to find 12 to 15 for an overlay district that simply allows multifamily by right as opposed to special permit. Municipalities that fail to comply are no longer eligible for a variety of state grants, including these that I've listed above. But we've already heard back from the state on a couple smaller grants that we received asking about our MBTA status. And our answer is, we're working on it. So, how do I get out of this?
There you go.
Okay.
Oh,
That took us back. Okay, so does the law require us to build housing? Last I looked, Sterling is not in the home building business. So no, it doesn't require that any Massachusetts town actually build the multifamily housing. You're not taking anyone's land, you're simply adding another mixed-use option to what's allowed there already. All we have to do is allow for the possibility of creating these housing units. We're not required to assure that they get built. In a practical sense, we're just adding another use by right to what's already allowed in our residential zoning districts. Next. So our first attempt, we tried the Northgate area, next, in the north of town near Leominster. Denied by the state, parcel frontages in Leominster. Northgate was approved by special permit, not by right, and one of the parcels did not meet our bylaws dimensional requirements. After that, we pitched a 60-acre parcel off of Ford Road in the very northeast corner of town, which received very little public support. Ford Road is in terrible condition. 2 cars can barely pass as it is during dry weather. The property is very wet, and the wetlands and streams support a cold water trout population. So, back in December of last year, you instructed me to take another look at the Northgate area of town near Leominster along Route 12, as that really makes the most practical sense for a multifamily overlay district. And so I did just that with the Regional Planning Commission and Town Council. We looked at 5 different options, locations in that vicinity, and we based it on these dimensional requirements. No minimum lot size, 15 units per acre, no more than that. Minimum frontage 50, front yard setback 40, side yard setback 25, rear 25, maximum height 48 feet. Next. So this was the option 1. Now, they're all in this general vicinity. So you're going to see various combinations of land along either side of Route 12. This was option 1. Next, option 2. Just a small variation in the parcels. Next one. Option 3 takes in land on either side of Route 12. Option 4, the same, but just a slight variation. And option 5, all on the east side of Route 12. Next. So in discussing this with the planning board, we chose option number 3. If you can go back to that, please. Okay, that's what it looks like. Now go forward. They chose it because it's close to the Leominster city line and the sewer line that stops at the town line and goes into the Northgate development, servicing that. Also, the close proximity of Northgate, multifamily housing, and nearby government commercial services. We also chose it because of its access to public transit service via the bus stop at Northgate Meadows along the Leominster Route 12 marked bus route, and the overlay district being located on both sides of the road so that development that comes in will not channel traffic on the Route 12 from a single point of entry and has a potential, several potential options for development. So what happens next? If you, the select board, approve our recommendation, we will submit our letter, our request to the state. The state will take about 100 days to respond. Upon hearing back from the state, probably around September, early September, the town will schedule a town meeting for late in the calendar year. That's it, gang. I'll take whatever questions you have.
We've spoken to the property owners option?
No, I wanted to nail down the location, but that would be the next step, is sending them a letter and inviting them to meet, or giving them an option of coming and talking with me. But I'll be explaining it that really all we're doing is adding one more land use option. One that's allowed by right as opposed to what's currently allowed out there by special permit. And they don't have to do anything. They can stay in their homes forever. But they do have one new land use option.
About how many landowners are?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
The other thing you might mention, that they don't have to do anything, but it would possibly increase the sale value of their home
It would, yes.
as they move forward, because I think a lot of those homeowners are seniors. You know, when I think about who lives over there.
Yeah, anybody who built multifamily in this area, they would need to combine a couple of those lots to have enough room.
I think the confusing thing to most residents is that the chances of this ever happening is slim to none.
Right. In the near future, yes. I will mention that we also got a grant from the Citizen Housing and Planning Association. They're a statewide housing advocacy group. They are going to come out here on September 16th over at the Old Town Hall, and they're going to give a Q&A session on the MBTA law and what it means and Sterling's effort to comply.
You might mention too, Stephen, that we were hoping that some of these other communities would take a win in courts, and they didn't.
They did not.
Got thrown out, basically.
Yeah, so if we fail to comply, we'll be hearing from the attorney.
So not a single community who has fought this has won, correct?
Not a one.
Just want people to know that, because there are some people out there that didn't think we had the proper appendages to handle this situation, and that we should behave the same manner as other towns, and we thought saving our town money was a better plan, and it seems that that was the better.
You know my criticism of this law and that they should have applied this to every town. Every town has a housing crisis, so why single us out? And if you're going to single out towns for being adjacent, towns that don't have municipal sewer, then you ought to have a reasonable density requirement and not 15 units per acre. But the law's the law. That's what we've got to deal with.
Oh, and they will still have to, well, there is sewer there. Anything in town that wasn't on that sewer line, or potentially on that sewer line, would still have to follow Title V.
They'd still have to extend the sewer line into Leominster, which is, they do have the capacity.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
I would make a motion that we move forward with the planning board's suggestion of option 3, so Stephen can move forward.
Second.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye?
Grants and I.
Okay, I'll get that into the state and keep you posted on its progress.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again.
Anything else while I'm here?
I don't think so.
All right, see you at the next forum.
All right. All right, next up we have a PFAS letter from the Board of Health. This is a letter from our Board of Health to the Commissioner of the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources. I can read it aloud if we need me to read it aloud. So dear Commissioner Randall, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS, nicknamed forever chemicals, are persistent, highly resistant to degradation, can travel through soils, contaminate groundwater, and accumulate in bodies of animals and humans over time. PFAS has been linked to a myriad of health issues, including cancer, developmental problems, and reproductive problems. PFAS found in public and private potable water supplies are expensive to remedy. For an example, the town of Webster recently estimated the cost to mitigate the effects of PFAS to be $37 million. It has recently come to our attention that the MDAR Rights of Way and Sensitive Areas material list of approved herbicides for rights of way lists herbicides containing PFAS. The town of Sterling is a watershed for the Wachusett Reservoir. Over 12 miles of power line and over 4 miles of railroad track rights of way pass through the town. Much of these directly contact or are in close proximity to open waterways. Potential use of these approved herbicides is concerning for the Sterling Board of Health. Recently, one of the Sterling's public water supply wells tested to be in excess of the state's minimum limit for PFAS. Continued testing is required before any decision to mitigate is made. However, this could be a daunting financial burden for the town. Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection and Department of Public Health have both warned of the dangers to humans and the environment related to PFAS. It is our opinion that every state entity should endeavor to ensure that no PFAS is added to our environment. The below signatories respectfully request that the MDAR immediately research all approved materials lists for chemicals that contain PFAS and, when so determined, remove such chemicals from these lists. That's from our Sterling Board of Health to the Commissioner of the MDAR. So I don't need our permission to send it off, but is that what they're looking for here?
They're looking to see if other boards, including us, would be willing to co-sign with them.
All right. I would welcome a vote that we co-sign the letter to the Commissioner of the MDAR for PFAS.
I would be in favor of that.
A second?
Second.
All right. Those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye. Ford, aye.
Grants and I. I'm not understand. They're an elected board. They can send this letter on.
They would like us to co-sign on it.
So they sent it to us, the DPW board, I think the planning board maybe.
Where did the DPW board go with it?
If Rich is going to their next meeting to give whatever information they may have, a little more information for them.
Because I think it has more to do with Board of Health and DPW water than it does with us.
For any and all support that they can get.
Go ahead.
All right, sounds good. Next up, we have a list of reappointments to multiple boards, committees. Oh, that is long. So you can find the list on your agenda. So right on the back of the agenda there is the list.
I know I read it.
Yes.
There's a lot of them.
So what we can do is just
I
take
memorized
them in bulk. However, we would need to pull out the FinCom and the
Capital budget.
capital, FinCom and capital, because that requires 3 votes, one by us, one by FinCom, and one by our moderator. And we have not heard from our moderator on his vote as of this evening. So I would suggest that we table capital and FinCom to our next meeting. So that being said, pulling that out, I would welcome a motion that we reappoint those listed with the exception of FinCom and capital.
So move.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye?
Ward, aye.
Grants and I did have a question on all the fire chief's appointments. There's a lot.
So he will be on until November, and then that will go to the,
All of them? Are we sure the new chief wants them?
It's not negotiable.
All right, next up, we have our liaison assignments. Have you all considered what committees you would like to be liaisons for? I know Ron is not here tonight, but he did send an email saying that he would be interested in fire, police, and economic development. So not sure, Dave, I think you have fire and police, correct?
Yes.
If you wanted to give up any of those, hand them over to Ron. You have economic
The only
development.
thing with fire and police is the continuity with David on there. And maybe Ron jumps in next year after he's got a little bit more.
Yep,
I mean, there's plenty of other,
right.
unless you don't want it anymore.
I'm perfectly fine taking them again.
Police, fire, and DPW.
Correct.
Police, fire, and DPW, you want to keep Dave?
It's also water department, but that kind of comes under Department of Public Works.
All right, they don't have any separate meetings, so we can kind of just combine those
Combine it.
two. All right.
And your Council of Aging.
I'm Council of Aging. I'm a bunch of things.
Which ones are left? I guess is my question.
I would
better
keep
than that.
Council on Aging. I would consider doing conservation. We've added, I believe. I don't know that we've had a liaison, but I've been going to those meetings. I can take conservation. I could do Board of Health, zoning board. I'm happy to take on anything that doesn't fit into anybody else's schedule.
I think that, what are you interested in, Patricia?
Well, conservation, library kind of jumped out of me, but if you want to do conservation.
I'm library. I'm happy to give you library.
Want to take library?
Sure.
She's like, take.
It's not,
Okay, I can do library.
it's an easy one.
Okay.
Housing Authority is new. Maybe Ron would be willing to take that on. We can ask him. If not, we can.
If not, I can do housing.
Is anybody doing recreation?
I do recreation.
Recreation?
If you want recreation.
I'm just wondering what's left, is what I'm saying.
So we've got 16 total here, so that would be 3 each.
So what's left?
We've got Economic Development. Ron offered to take. I don't know if you wanted to give that up, Maureen, or if you'd like to keep that.
It's a tough one. I think I want to stay on it for this year.
Okay.
Got a lot of things going on.
Anything
Well, is anybody doing 1835?
You can have that.
Sure, you can have that.
I'm just trying to figure out what's left. Did you say you're doing recreation?
I do
You do recreation. So no one's doing emergency management? No one's doing housing? Light energy? Are those all?
Maureen, I thought, did light.
Sure, housing authority.
Housing?
Sure.
Okay. And then we can let Ron kind of look through what's left over here. So I will take Council on Aging, Conservation, and Zoning.
Sorry.
You do fair as well, correct, Maureen? Is
I
that
do. I'll
something
keep the fair.
Okay. All right.
So I'll keep that and the fair. And what else?
So
Comes my way?
So you've got economic development, fair. I think were you light department as well?
Yeah.
Is that something you want to keep?
Sure.
Okay.
Get my info.
So that's
from
3
there.
for you, and then it would leave emergency management for Ron. I don't know when they meet. Maybe recreation and either Board of Health or zoning if he wants to take one or the other. I'm happy to switch those off with him. So we'll talk to him about those.
If there's an extra one left over, which is okay.
Well, the thing is, you can go to any of these meetings.
Right.
Right.
And even though you're the contact between them and us, you don't have to go to them all. Most of, like I do go to economic development, the fair committee, I go to them when they actually need me to go.
Right.
With all their meetings, they have a lot.
Yes, they do.
There could be more than one person on something like that.
That's true too.
And we all work together. If someone can't make it to a meeting and we
Yeah.
feel like we need to be at one for some reason or
Right.
another, we work it out together.
And we all go to finance,
Right.
commercial.
And you don't have to go to these meetings.
No.
It's nice to go, say hello, let someone know, let them know who you are if they need you.
And especially now where you're new.
Right,
So go
right.
to them all.
That's what I did when I was new. I went to them all.
Exactly.
And then they're kind of fun, so I just kept doing it. All right.
Sounds good.
I got that written down. I will hand that off to comma or
He's already got it
or
done.
not comma. See? Well, I'll hand it off to somebody. Thank you all. Next up, our summer meeting schedule. So we have our every other week meetings. A lot of towns just do one meeting for July and August. So we were considering whether or not we would like to just move to having one meeting for the month of July and one meeting for the month of August. So, anybody have any problems with
I
that?
think it's a great idea. If something comes up and we have to meet, we always can schedule a meeting.
And now, we just need 3 of us, so we can pull 3 of us together if something comes up. Do we have any specific meetings? I know we looked at what's coming up.
Yeah, the one near the end in August obviously has all the fair permits and appointments that they have. Any of the departments that were coming in can obviously reschedule. I think there was only 2 over the summer. And then we just have the reappointments that were just held. You guys meet next week, right?
Meet next week.
And then we'll have to do the transfers, so maybe the beginning of, either one is pretty close to the beginning of July. You guys can sign off on them regardless, and then you could do something similar with it. The chair can sign off on the departmental transfers before the 15th. So.
Yes, that would be a lot of time in between if we didn't meet.
Ron's gonna.
So we should be meeting on the 2nd, 16th, and 30th. So it's good that we're doing this when it's a 3-meeting month here. So anybody have any vacations or anything coming up in July that would want to make sure we don't have a meeting that time.
Nope, we all have boring lives.
I do, but it wouldn't be the second. It wouldn't be the,
So shall we try for the 16th of July, and then we need to have one later, is it the 27th that we had all the fair stuff going on? Because if we do early July and late August, that's a lot of time in between.
That sounds familiar, right?
That's what I thought.
Or September, we do all the permits.
So 16th and 27th, those sound?
Of July?
16th of July, 27th of August.
All right, and seriously, if anything comes up in between.
Right. Yeah, we're around, so if anything comes up, we can handle it. But so for the time being, our next meeting will be on July 16th, and then followed by a meeting August 27th.
Okay, on July 16th on our agenda, can we have the fair in? Doug would like to come in and give everybody an update on,
July 16th.
yeah, in the July one. I mean, they don't have to come in when we do the permits, so. But he is, obviously, there's a lot of scuttlebutt about the airport and it
Right.
possibly being sold and, people, and we just don't want to have people decide they're not coming to the fair because the airport's, because it's not yet sold. Completely.
Yeah, you can come in, for sure.
So we'll put him on the July 16th. Should I be looking at Bill instead of you, or are you going to make a note for him, or?
I'll do it.
Thank you, Carmen.
Okay.
And would you do the 3-hole punch too while you put it together?
Pre-punch some papers.
I think somebody's going to get punched.
I was going to say, there's a punch going, yeah, the punch is going to
So
happen.
shall we take a formal vote, and I would just welcome a motion that our next meeting be the 16th of July, followed by the 27th of August.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye?
Or not.
Grants and I.
All right.
And Jan will be thrilled.
Nights off.
One meeting she can scratch off her list.
Some nights off.
All right. Next up, we have the police lieutenant contract ratification.
We'll just have to table that one for now.
All right, sounds good. We will table that until a future meeting.
That might be something that comes up before the 16th.
Could be.
Right.
Just give us a call.
No, I'll find you guys.
Yeah. Kind of scary.
So next on our agenda, we have a longtime employee who will be leaving us soon. And we would like to award her with a lifetime pass to the Sterling-Town Beach. Anybody have any guess who that employee may be?
Well, Vicki wishes it was her.
So our executive admin, will be leaving us at the end of the month. We appreciate everything she does for us. Very sad that she will be leaving us. We're probably all in denial that it's happening. But make us very happy to be able to award her with a lifetime beach pass. Do we have anything official for her, or are we just saying, hey,
Could you make one up?
Time?
What did you guys call me? And I would have done something.
Okay. I wasn't sure if Recreation had a special pass.
We'll get
No,
something
just something to have in
special.
the minutes so that even after any of us are, not here remembering, they can always go back to the minutes.
I would welcome a motion that we award Jane a lifetime pass to the Sterling-Town Beach.
So moved.
It's my second.
All those in favor?
Are you going to say no?
Newman, aye.
Or not.
Grants and I.
All right. Thank you very much. All right.
She's already crying.
I'm very crying.
Yeah.
Commas are tears of joy. But
Yeah, she was tears of joy, not me.
We should
I have a feeling we may see you here and there. I don't know. I hope so.
we should have a stipulation that she informs us when she's going down there so we can go hunt her.
Correct. Good. Splash her a little,
We'll be halfway on the other side of the lake before we get through there.
Some applause for that.
Sure, of course.
Encore.
All right. Mr. Caldwell.
All right. So, closing out any grants that we have, obviously the time for grant reimbursements, we have most of them completed. As we had mentioned, the departmental transfers and reserve fund transfers, those will come up at our meeting in July. Finance committee has voted that the chair and vice chair can sign off on those through the 15th. And then I think we'll see you guys on the 16th, so you may want to deputize somebody to sign off on them, and we'll send it out to the board. You may want to deputize somebody.
Sure, we can do that. I'm happy to be that person.
It's all in one spreadsheet, so you'll get it all once we have the last and final warrants done.
All right, I tend to be available, and I would maybe have Dave as a backup. Can we deputize a backup?
Deputize away.
All right, so I would...
Deputy Doug.
Can I just say something?
Sure you can.
We've done this in the past, and only the chair was necessary to sign off on it.
Yeah, just in case she wasn't available.
She's available.
Look at her. Thanks. Not me. Wow, okay.
No.
All right, so, yeah, I'm
I
happy
mean, I don't
to-
think we have to take a formal vote on it. She's there. She is there. And when she's not available, it's the vice chair, which is David, right? Okay.
Also available.
You don't know that.
He might get a job.
Bite your tongue.
All right, I will make myself available.
Perfect. In terms of the DPW facility update, the bid process for the OPM, the Owner's Project Manager, is out. That is the person that would walk us through anything regarding the project and work on behalf of the town and their interests. And we also took a site walk down there with the design team last week, I think. Take a look at the site so that they can actually see it. We've seen it, but in person. The executive assistant position has been filled and will begin on June 30th. That person's announcing at their select board meeting tonight, so we'll announce and welcome them at our next meeting. Sent off the fair insurance renewal this morning. The Squareshire Bridge, that does have a large detour, which has changed a little bit, has been delayed. They're waiting on some DOT approvals, so it was supposed to start this week. That has obviously not happened, and it probably won't be until the beginning of July, pending those approvals. As a new person gets on, we'll get that website migration rolling. Same company, different platform. I still don't know what it's called. Less bad, I think, was what I called it last time, and I'm hoping that's the case. 1835 painting is complete. Looks pretty good over there. We did hold the employee appreciation lunch on Tuesday. Well attended, and thank you guys
Well
very much.
attended, and real big thanks to Dave and Vicki. They went above and beyond to get those grills going, got those burgers out. Had to slap this one a lot. She kept taking my tongs.
Oh my God. Get your own freaking tongue.
They were my tongs. I broke those. Just saying. But no, seriously, thank you. That was a big deal. Doing the shopping and getting it out there. It was nicely done.
Thank you very much.
The supplemental budget is going through the legislature. There is some funding in there for the concrete sidewalks at Wachusett High School, so they may get some of the funding that they're looking for there. And we have received our first payment in the PFAS litigation settlements regarding AFFF, which was the firefighting foam. This was just the first bit of it from one settlement. There are 2 or 3 others to come, so we should be getting a sizable amount of settlement funds over the next year plus, which will definitely help in some of those items.
So does that all go to the DPW and water?
It sits in a separate reserve fund that gets appropriated at town meeting, and it will be obviously for that.
Basically going for it.
Those are the major items.
Sounds good. Thank you. All I've got is pancake breakfast coming up at the Senior Center on the 27th, and we are the celebrity servers that morning. So if anyone wants to come on down and support the Senior Center, we're happy to pour you a nice cup of coffee.
I put it in as new event, and apparently I didn't name it.
But you know you have something.
All right, anybody have anything they want to put out there tonight?
I just want to publicly thank Karma for everything she's done for the town. And I know she doesn't want any fanfare or any recognition, but we would be lost as a board without everything she has done for us. So thank you very much.
Definitely, yes. She's like a second mom. I like to come in and chat with her.
Oh, my God.
It's true. Yes.
I have two things. One from Ed McNamara. Remember at Memorial Day, he asked us, to put it out there in the public and possibly have him come in and talk about the Legion and the Legion Hall. We have over 800 veterans in town, and he's got basically a handful of people that come and help. Doesn't cost you anything, and there's some perks to joining the Legion. But needing help with the flags, the marching, the guns, all those things.
Getting some younger, I know they were hoping to get some younger veterans to join.
And there's 800 of them out here, just in Sterling alone.
Just in Sterling, wow.
So eventually, I'd like to have them come in and give us a little overview of what they actually do, other than do parades, and what he would actually be looking for, other than us walking with them, and speaking. So I had that, and then so lastly, I don't even know if I can do this, but your patience, inspiration, ability to dig deep, your calm demeanor will be hard shoes to fill. I don't even know where I would be without you these last 11 years. I don't even know. So I'm coming to West Boylston. I track you down. No, but the things you have brought to us and to the table, I am so much appreciative of. And like I said, it's been 11 years and I really don't like it. But I don't always get what I want, obviously. But thank you again. We'll be seeing you down the lake, have a picnic. Use your pass.
Yeah, you really messed her up. I've never heard of Massachusetts accent, but she just said demeanor. So I don't know where that came from, but
That's a
yeah,
good accent.
you really messed her up.
It could be New Jersey.
Joyce?
All right. Do we have anyone here for public session? Sounds good.
Rob? I thought you had something to say.
You said you had a rousing speech.
No, thank you for giving Kama back to get home.
We'll see how you feel in a few months.
She may be back.
I was going to say, we might see her back sooner than later.
She has more time to rearrange rocks, right? I'll just add, I'm going to share this with all of you. We got a nice thank you letter from one of our students that we gave a scholarship to, Charlie Heinrich, if you want to look at that, but I'll just share that with you. So
She's the one that's going to be the clown.
all right.
Maybe she wants a position on the board at some point in time.
Take my place. Easy.
All right, if there's nothing else, I would welcome that last motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Sorry.
Newman, aye.
Grant's aye.
Very